What's up guys, Cardfight here. Today I'll be doing an all-new deck profile on the Sentry Guard Blaster deck, which recently got first place on the Singapore 2016 Asian Championship. So yeah, I've been studying the video which I've recorded in the finals, and I've finally came up with a deck list and I'm going to explain on why the deck is so strong and how the whole mechanic of the deck works. Alright, this deck is very special because it only runs 5 grade 3s, which is 1 Automount and 4 copies of Sentry Guard Dragon. In this case, it was a G regulation for... it was G format for the Japanese game, so I actually used 4 Sentry Guard the person actually used 4 Sentry Guard Guarantee for his deck instead of Sentry Guard, only because for its Sentry Guard name. And because Guarantee has the flag in the bottom right hand corner, so it is G regulation. Alright, so the deck list for the champion is actually just replacing 4 Guarantee with Sentry Guard Dragons. Alright, so let us go on to the deck profile. First, we play 4 copies of Sentry Guard Dragon. I'll be mixing the clans because I'm very lazy to unsleeve some of my stuff. Alright, his ability is Limit Break. When this unit attacks and you have, for each grade 1 or less Royal Paladin control, it gains plus 3k power. So if you control, most of the time we control 3 grade 1s for boosting, so he's gonna gain 9k power, 20k attacker, pretty nice Limit Break skill against those pesky Great Lock decks. Second ability is, when this is written as a Vanguard, you can activate skill by discarding 1 card, superior call 1 grade 1 Royal Paladin from your deck, and then shuffle onto your Regal Circle, then shuffle your deck. So yeah, 4 copies is because most of the time the deck focuses on rushing during grade 2. The rush in this deck is totally freaking amazing because you have cards such as Liu and Benon, which allows you to rush early game, and Benon, which summons out Miron, which Soul Blast to draw 1 card, and while you have to Soul Blast, so you use Liu to replenish your soul by going to Soul and super calling another Blaster Blade. So this deck is really well synergized and well thought of. Now this deck originally is stopping in Japan, and I can see why it is. It's a very powerful deck. So yeah, we mostly write the Sentry Guard as a finishing blow. So during your turn, if your opponent is at grade 3 already, and he's at 4 or more damage, just write him and strike, and most likely it's gonna be game because you'll be able to swing with Sentry Guard Dragon, which is one of the strongest Royal Paladin strides out there, and it can be used during your first strike, which is really amazing. 4 copies of Sentry Guard Dragon, 1 copy of Automount. Automount is a very good, a pretty decent backup grade 3 to write. Automount skill is continuous GB2. During your turn, all the units on your front row gains plus 5k power. Second ability is, whenever it performs strike, you can counterblast 1. If you do superior call up to 2 cards from your hand, after that select any 2 units on the field, and those unit gains plus 5k power. So it's not necessary for you to call cards from your hand. So even if you don't call any cards, you can still use your second skill to gain plus 5k power to 2 units. So it's a very good card. And check out that misprint. Yeah, 1 copy just because it's still a decent grade 3. Alright, finally the best card in GBT-06 in my opinion. 4 copies of favorite Pupil of Light and Darkness, Liu. His ability is, when this unit is boosted by a unit called Blaster Friend Bakao or Flogo, Best Go Flogo. During the end of the battle, this unit gains plus 3k power. Now, until the end of battle, this unit gains plus 3k power, so it's a 12k attacker. So it's great because you put behind Flogo is still gonna hit for 10k against opponent's Vanguard. And against ability, after the battle, you can counter blast 1. If you do, put this card into your soul and superior call 1 card with the blaster name. So most of the time, and the blaster unit gains was 3k power. So most of the time we're gonna be calling Blaster Blade out, and then attack. Blaster Blade become 11k, and you can solo the Vanguard once again. So this is great because it doesn't have the GB2 skill, so you can rush early game, or you could Great Lock your opponent and rush him like hell, and finish him off with Sentry Guard Dragon when the time is right. So 4 copies because it gives you additional attack, and if you combo this with Blaster Friend Bakao, attack, counter blast 1, superior call Blaster Blade, unflip. So basically you're getting for a free cost, you get a free soul charge and a free additional attack. So that is very amazing. Alright, 4 copies of Blaster Blade, shit, this kind of sound wrong. my avatar. Ability is basically Counter Blast 2. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, you can Counter Blast 2, retire 1 unit opponent's control. And second ability is when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, Counter Blast 2 and retire a grade 2 or higher Vanguard unit. So Palamedes back then, big threat. It's great now because we now have Blaster Bakao so that you can use the second skill, not so Counter Blast heavy. Basically, you're going to become a Counter Blast 1. The most important card in the deck, just because it is being superior caught by Liu, and there's a lot of synergy with the Floggles, which allows you to attack once again. So most of the times you'll be checking trigger with the Vanguard. Trigger check Vanguard, pump crit, attack, resend, attack. So this is freaking amazing card. And imagine you use Sentry Guard Regalia skill, the front it gains plus 9k power, resending and attacking 2 times is gonna kill your opponent off very easily. So 4 copies of Blaster Blade because it's a staple in the deck, and it's very important. Alright, next is 4 copies of Benon. It is from the comic booster. Benon's skill is very interesting and very powerful. This is one of my favorite cards. I used him in my Alpha deck since the beginning. His skill is Counter Blast 1. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard Circle, you may pay the cost if you do such a deck for a card with 6k power. So if there's a card that is a grade 2 and is 6k, you can still call it. And call it to your Vanguard Circle, which is the same column as this unit. So you can only call it behind him. And shuffle your deck. So most of the time you're going to be calling Miron, Hidden Sage Miron, to draw 1 free card. And it's even though it's a 15k column, it is fine because once you strike the Sentry Guard, the power differences will be covered up. So he's great because he gives you a +2 instantly. So early game you ride him, your opponent will be pressured very hard, especially in the G format, which depends heavily on striding, and this deck doesn't have to fear the strike. Right, 2 copies of Knights of Twin Swords. Twin Swords are a very good card in when you are striding to Regalia, because when you Counter Blast 1, you can gain an additional attack. When this unit is boosted in Counter Blast, you can Counter Blast 1 if you do Super Core grade 2 from your deck. So most of the time when we play the deck, when we strike Regalia, activate the GB1 attack, Superior Core Liu onto the column with Flogal or Bakao, attack with Liu, restand, transform the Blaster Blade, attack again, Counter Blast 1, go in again. So the front row gain plus 9k for the whole turn, and you'll be getting huge amounts of attack thanks to him, because you can tilt out your attackers. 2 copies as tag, because this is mostly for the finishing game, and he can be searched out from this guy, so it's okay to play 2. Most important is the early game engine, which is this. It's very important to draw all these. Alright, let's go on to grade 1s. 4 copies of Miron. Okay, this for the deck, I've actually checked. It might be 3-3 or it might 4-2. I'm actually just testing. Miron's skill is when this unit is called from the deck to the Vanguard Circle, you can Soul Blast 2 if you do draw 1 card. So use it with Benon and you can draw an additional card. So Benon basically nets you a +2 right now. Very good card. Early game rush. 4 copies of Stripe Helper. This deck plays very little. This deck plays very little amounts of grade 3s. So this guy is very important because if during the turn you need to strike, you'll be most likely going to discard him. So yeah, 4 copies. Alright, next is the G Perfect Guards. Very important because you need the Counter Blast to finish off your opponents. So G Perfect Guards will save your life and save your Counter Blast. 2 copies of Blaster Friend Buckle. Yeah. When a card named Blaster Blade is placed on the Vanguard or Vanguard Circle, same column as this unit, and you have a Blaster Vanguard, which means you most likely gonna be riding Blaster Blade. And if you boost Liu and it comes out Blaster Blade, you can unflip the damage. So counter charge 1. So yeah. Alright, let's go on to our triggers first. After checking the video, I checked that he played 8 crits. Pretty interesting choice. It makes sense because once you push your opponent to 4 damage, you can finish him off. So the crits is very well thought of. You could play draws if you want, but I think crits is the way to go since this deck is really aggressive. Checking 1 crit, especially on the turn 1 crit, turn 2 crit kind of bullshit, you can kill your opponent off very fast. Alright, next is the starter. His ability is GB1, Counter Blast 1 and put this guy into your soul. If you do, you may Superior Core 1 grade 2 from your deck and quite to your rear guard circle. So when you strike, and let's say you happen to strike and you don't have any more front row rear guards, most likely you can call Twin Swords out and fill up your whole field. So splendid card. One card. Alright, 4 heals, obviously. Alright, let's get on the strikes. Strikes, you have Fortress, Aerial Divine Knight, Ultima. Ultima is still one of the best strikes in the Royal Paladin deck, due to the fact that he can super call units for no counter blast and giving your front row a power boost. His ability is, when this unit plays on a Vanguard circle, you may pay the cost of flipping a copy of itself up. If you do, all your units at the front row gains a 3k power. Then if your number of face-up cards in your G zone is 2 or more, search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 card and call it to your rear guard circle, and that unit gives us 5k power. So it's a very, very powerful card. For no counter blast, you not only get one unit gain plus power, and your front row gains power, so they can fix any problems such as Blaster Blade being only a 9k, give it power, become 12k, can resend the Flogger, attack twice. So great card. 4 copies. And 3 copies of Sentry Guard Regalia from the FC 2015. His ability is forever. So basically, when you have a heart with a Sentry Guard in the name, for each grade 1 you control, your front row gives us 3k power. So most of the time you're gonna have 3 grade 1s or less on the field, boosting your Vanguards and your rear guards. So your front row gives us 9k power. Very, very good. 9k power is like basically magic numbers. Your opponent has to guard for like 2 more cards for each time. So, and you can finish him off with resending combos and all the Spirit Calling. So yeah, very powerful finisher. One copy of Guardblade. Yeah, I just think this is the logical choice. Just in case you have no rear guards in your first strike, you can just go Guardblade and attack for something, and next turn try to survive. So 1 Guardblade's fine. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my deck profile on the Sentry Blaster deck, which topped Singapore 2016 Asian Championship. If you like more deck profiles like these, be sure to add me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel. Peace out and love you guys.